And we are back, everybody, once again with the Mind Blossom. Welcome back. In today's video, I'm going to be working on a picture called Nocturnus number 2. Nocturnus being of the night. Of the night. Of the darkness. Of the negative polarity in our universe. Vampires. Vampiric tendencies. Do you know anybody like that with vampiric tendencies? It's a lot of wannabe vampires out there. How many real vampires, though? I don't know. And I don't care to know. A lot of people want to be of the dark side. But it's just not happening. Most people aren't really built for that. What does it mean to be of the dark side? It seems pretty badass. Like a lot of people want to be Sith Lords. They want to be vampires because we romanticize it in our media and it seems very sexy. But the denizens of the dark side have to be really, really okay with chaos. You have to be in your element in chaos. And a lot of people think they are avatars, agents of chaos. But are you really? I mean, to the natural extreme that, considering how far chaos can go, you know how they say there's levels to this? And when people talk about, I don't know, have you ever heard somebody say that? There's levels to this game? The same thing applies to the spiritual world. And there's levels to chaos. There are octaves. An octave is like a repeating set of qualities. So on one level, chaos is, I don't know, unpredictability. But you don't know how unpredictable and confusing things can really get for you on the dark side of spirituality. I used to be one such person who thought I was of the darkness. I lived by myself and I was alone. And uh, I wanted to be like a vampiric type of person. I wanted to be magnetic. I was isolated. In this subjective world of my art, and making art was the only thing that really mattered. So when a person travels through the void straight into the negative polarity of the dark side, they will eventually have to be okay with letting go of everything. Because it's going to be stripped away from them whether they like it or not. The dark side is like walking up to the void and taking a look down into it and diving headfirst into it. A complete, infinite, vast, dark abyss. Have you ever been on the beach at night? in the pitch black and you can't tell the difference between the sea and the sky, and all you hear is the roaring, crashing of the waves. That's kind of like the abyss, but not even close. Having complete faith in the darkness. Realizing that the source of all your fear and terror lies in the attachment, and lies in the fact that you still are connected to your ego. People can gain spiritual, psychic powers on the dark side and on the light side. Like the Jedi and the Sith, they're both really powerful. And you can develop powers on the dark side. But the trap is that it can go to your head. In other words, you can begin to identify with it, those powers. And you can believe you have a false sense of having made it. You have a false sense of godhood. And when I say false sense, what I'm saying is that that's your ego. You think you're the shit. But really, you have a long ways to go on the journey of darkness. Meaning that you still have to learn how to let go of your ego. Because the dark side is trying, the function of the negative polarity is to dissolve your ego. Keep in mind that the dark side and the light side are both paths onto enlightenment, which is to say oneness with the Creator. And in order to become one with the Creator, you need to let go of your ego, or chip away at it, basically release it. And the left-hand path, the path of confusion, chaos, and destruction, is just more turbulent. It's a turbulent ride into enlightenment, whereas the right-hand path is more so a uh, it takes a lot of discipline as well, and it takes a lot of sacrifice in another kind of way. You have to gradually let go of the things that are holding you back from being a more loving, beneficial entity. Beneficial how? Beneficial to who? To the common person. Because those on the right hand side of spirituality are more so about the people. They are here to serve and to uh, share light with others and to help other people discover their light. The people, excuse me, on the left hand side, they're a little bit more selfish. They're only concerned with their own. They're not really concerned about other people. I always thought it was, I still think it's interesting how in my heart, I feel and know myself to be on the right hand path. And yet, some of the artwork I make, pretty much all the artwork I make, look at it, is this darkness. So something within me is magnetizing these types of imagery. Interesting. All I can say. And I think everybody has a connection to both the light and the so called dark. as a person travels into the vortex of darkness, their greatest danger is an attachment to their ego. Because the vortex, its function is to dissolve your ego. And so, if you insist on holding on to the ego, you will have an incredibly turbulent experience. Because the avatars of the dark side will continue to spin you round and round counterclockwise until that ego's gone. And so to the extent that you hold on to the ego is the extent to which you will go insane. At the basis of insanity is confusion. An oscillation back and forth between the known and the unknown. This and that. So people want to be of the dark side, but they don't really know what it's about. That's what underlies vampirism, demonic entities. These are creatures and intelligent forces who make their home in the chaos. It's just how they're born. It's just the way they are. It's just the way they are. It's their cosmic nature. But I like the light, man. I'm more of the light side. I got to be honest. And like I said, it's crazy. 'Cause I see here I am talking about how I am of the right hand path, but I'm making these dark left hand paths pictures. Vampire. This person right here, the subject of this image, would take your soul. Your soul is a piece of divine technology from the highest realms, and you have it, but it can be lost. It can be broken. It can atrophy. When the soul is damaged, the whole rest of the person is damaged. The damage reverberates outwards into external reality slowly over time until that person becomes more and more of a wreck. Have you ever met someone like this? I work in mental health and I see a lot of people like this. Psychology is the study of the psyche, and psyche means soul. It's study of the soul. One of the hallmarks of a damage to the soul is insanity, mental illness, serious mental illness. I'm talking thought disorders. If a person has a thought disorder where their thoughts are uh, erratic, spontaneous onto the point of confusion, a person is always confused, can never think straight. They have little to no control over their thought process. Their thought process has control over them. This kind of person is going to never be able to find a place to live. They'll barely be able to hold down a job, if ever. Their only hope is if they are an artist and they convert some of that insanity into interesting artwork. But even that is not a sustainable game. It's a gamble. And yet some people are simply born for the path of chaos. Good for them. And some people are born for the path of harmony. Good for them. Let everyone be who they are and mind your business. Mind your business. Basically, do what you're supposed to do in this world. Basically, evolve. How do you evolve? The first step in evolution is admitting to yourself that you have a higher version of you, that there exists a better, more perfect version of yourself. If a person says to themselves, I don't need to grow, that's ignorance. If you look around and think that this is all there is, then you're never going to grow and evolve because you have chosen to be ignorant. Ignorance is a choice. However, you can get rid of that ignorance. Sorry, I accidentally slapped my mic away. I don't know how that happened. I had a little malfunction over here. So then, evolution really is admitting to yourself that there is a better version of you waiting, and you got to step into that version. Basically, I think the best thing in the world is freedom. Isn't that the best? Isn't freedom really the only thing that matters? Freedom to be who you really are. Freedom to get in the right vibration that works for you. To get in that right rhythm. Of course, everybody's version of freedom is a little bit different. And it may change, and it certainly will change over time per person. What you think is freedom this year may be totally different than your definition next year. Because you are changing. Your soul is changing. The emanations of the soul come from within, they expand outwards, they manifest in the physical world, but they begin in a more fine energetic world. The energies of the Most High are very subtle, and they coalesce into density down here, and that's called manifestation. So, can we relax our minds and body enough so we can get in touch with those fine, subtle vibrations from above? Yes, we can. I'll tell you what, I haven't made artwork in quite a minute. So, hear this. Back in early February, like late January, early February, I got laid off from my job. I was a case manager for refugees coming into the country. And as you know, if you've, or for those who don't know, I was a case manager and I would get housing and Medicaid and food stamps and stuff for refugee families coming into the country. Um, and I worked at a nonprofit agency and it got shut down because we stopped getting funding from the federal government. And we weren't the only ones. I mean, there were agencies just like ours across the country who got closed down. I think it had to do with some of Trump's executive orders, but uh, I was like, oh man, so I lost my job. But I found a new job pretty fast, like right away, as a mental health case manager at a different agency somewhere else, closer to home actually. And so I was fortunate to get a new job. But when I initially lost my job, it took the safety net out from under me, and I was like thrust out of my comfort zone. And I decided, okay, I need to take the next step with counseling, which is what I went to school for. And so I took a break from art to study heavily, pretty much every day, for the National Counselor exam. And I took the National Counselor exam on February 26th, which was a couple weeks ago, and I passed. How about that? I passed it. So that's why I've been away from art, because I was going really hard with the studying. But I'm back. And moving forward, when I come back to art, I'm like, what am I going to do with this? Am I going to keep making these images of darkness? I noticed something. The more heavily involved I get with my art, the less I am mentally prepared to be a counselor. And I think that's because when I work on my artwork, I get obsessed with it. It becomes the sole focus of my attention. It's all I want to do. But when I focus on counseling, I become more interested in sharing my light with other people. It's like every time the seasons of artwork for me, it's like every time I get back into artwork, it becomes my obsession again. And I have no problem ignoring everything else in the world in favor of focusing on my art. Maybe that's natural. I don't know. I'm sure it is. I think it is. It's all natural. But it doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel right to be obsessed with it doesn't feel right to be obsessed with something that makes me focus inward to the exclusion of everything else. I used to want to be the madman, deranged artist who lived a really eccentric lifestyle And that lifestyle is really just a reflection of my own internal chaotic state. That was very glamorous for me. But now I don't find it to be as glamorous as I once did. It's a lot of artists out there who lean into the archetype of the eccentric. It's very glamorous to be the eccentric, lone, nearly deranged soul who operates with confidence on the fringes of society, doing the unexpected, embodying chaos, and otherwise being a cowboy, living above the law and yet still having disdain for the institutions which seem to linger over us like Big Brother. And I fed that part of myself for years. I worked on embodying that person for a long time. But I think my higher self, I think that I don't think it worked out for me because there's more to life than being the eccentric artist who dances on the fringe of society. There are a lot of people who are trapped in the vortex of illusions who could desperately use some help. And at the same time, there are very, very few people who are able to actually provide the right kind of help. What is the right kind of help? What do I mean by that? Our three-dimensional reality is a plane of existence which sits on top of a whole universe of chaos. The underworld of confusion and rapid destruction sits beneath us like a vortex, and its influence is felt on a daily basis and in every way. In other words, we are living in chaos. And many of us are young souls, or perhaps we are souls who have come here and been damaged to the point where we no longer have the faculties to adjust to that chaos, meaning a lot of us can't handle it. A lot of us are lost. Many of us are confused. Many of us are sick. Many of us are lonely. Many of us have, for one reason or another, lost our capacity to navigate the chaos of the world. And what these people need is clarity, light, in truth. There's not many people who can sincerely bring that kind of light to the world. Really, though, we can all bring that kind of light to the world because we all pretty much have souls and we can all share our light. But there's not, and not everybody really is in touch with their own light to the point where they can begin to share it. You have to discover what it is and fully realize it for yourself before you can begin to share it. You have to realize what it is. You have to recognize the light within. Then you have to nurture it, watch it grow, feed it, develop it, to the point where it becomes a force of nature that spills outwards. It takes you over. You lose yourself in it until you realize that you are it, and then you embody the light and you channel it outwards like in beams. You project the light outwards like a rainbow, like a pure celestial light moving through the prism of your soul onto the world. And so not everybody is at that point of evolution. And I realized that I had to get to that point of evolution, otherwise I was never really going to feel freedom in this world. And for me, freedom is everything. And I knew that I began to realize that I would only find freedom if I could become more like that perfect prism that reflects the divine light. And my prism, turns out I wasn't really, I'm not really built to be the eccentric artist on the fringes of society. I thought I was. I really wanted to be that guy. But there's a lot of qualities that I have which would suggest that I'm built to be something a little bit different than that. My skills and my talents and the areas that I'm good at would suggest that I am here to help counsel other people. A lot of doors have opened for me in my life, and a lot of doors have closed. Many doors have refused to open. And so I started paying attention to the opportunities that manifested in my life. And it seemed like all of the opportunities for me, doors would constantly open for me when I was on the path towards becoming a counselor. Like the universe wanted me to become a counselor. Like it was waiting for me to realize that life would become more seamless and effortless if only I decided to pursue what I was meant for. I started to wonder, maybe I was lingering in the greater realms looking down at the third dimension, and I was pondering on what I could do to help the lost souls. And I decided, all right, I'm going to go down to earth and become a licensed professional counselor. That's what I'm going to do. That's going to be my goal when I get down there. But healers need to be careful. Counselors, they can easily become self-righteous. It can be an ego trap too. Us counselors, we need to be careful not to exert our helpfulness onto the world. You know, the people who need help, let them come to you. Don't go looking for problems to solve. We are not here to be martyrs, right? We don't have the answers. Everybody's perception of reality is going to be different, and there's not really such a thing as a skeleton key. All right. So what were we talking about? Sorry, I had to step away for a second, but I'm here. I'm back, everybody. Ah, just vibing in this thing, man. Just vibing in the cut. So yes, this has been another picture by the Mind Blossom, Nocturnus number 2. Nocturnus number 2 of the night. I have a few more videos that I want to show, and I think the next time I hop onto the artwork, the next time I get engaged with the Mind Blossom, again, I haven't made new artwork. Like, I haven't sat down with my iPad and worked on actual new pictures for, I guess, like over a month, something like that. The next time I do, I think I'm going to do things with a different spin. I don't know what that means exactly, but I'm thinking I want to make more pictures related to the light. Enough with the demons and the vampires and the satanic extraterrestrial entities. I mean, it's just like I have to channel that. Do you know what I'm saying? I have to channel that. I have to willingly activate and open certain portals in my mind in order to follow through with the process of finishing a picture like this. When you unlock those portals, you invite chaotic vibrations to filter through your mind so that you can access them and turn them into art. Okay, but the problem is that closing those portals is not easy. You have to get back in touch with the light. You have to move back away from those portals again. Living with those portals wide open is not easy because your mind all day long is thinking about chaos. You become more sensitive to it, you become more tuned to it, you embody it more. It manifests in your life more. You see it in others more. You're projecting it on others more. And yes, granted, you have more material to make art with, but is it really that worth it? So it's intoxicating, and it's a rush, and it's exotic, and it's a dangerous adventure into the inner worlds of the psyche. But it makes for an overall more turbulent life, which is to say the downs are very down and the ups are very up. And the only time that really matters is the weekend when you have a full 2 days to just sink your teeth into artwork. But the rest of the week, it's like you don't give a shit about your job and your family because all you want to do is go inward and work with the chaos that you've let in. And so 5 days out of the week, while you need to support yourself at your job, you're miserable because you're not focused and you don't really care about your job and you're just showing up, being a shell of who you really are, putting on a facade, like putting extra effort into the version of you that society needs. You know what I mean? So that's why this is hard. Remember back for my Patreon members, back when a couple months ago, when I posted about how I posted a picture and I asked, should I, like, this picture is a result of me opening up portals in my mind to gain access to this type of imagery. It's not a joke. You know what I mean? So moving forward, for the sake of my sanity, I'm going to take the Mind Blossom in a different direction. I don't know what that direction is going to be, don't know what it's going to look like, but I want to move away from so much chaos. Overemphasizing the magnetic qualities of my character is not good because it's imbalanced. The negative polarity of darkness is magnetic, and the positive polarity of the light is electric. And a fully formed, individuated person is happily in the middle ground between both. And that's where I'm trying to be, you know what I mean? Let's get some more electric images in the domain of the Mind Blossom. Let's change things up. Vampires, demons, and all that, it's cool, but it's like, overplayed a little bit. I see it everywhere. I see it all over the place. And when I tune my mind to that constantly, you'd be surprised. It kind of turns me into that dark avatar a little bit more. And my dreams are more violent and chaotic. And my aura changes. My personality changes because I'm feeding a certain construct within that is more tuned to the magnetic polarity of darkness in our universe. All right? So we're moving on from that a little bit, guys. We're moving on from that. Okay? We're embracing harmony. And we are accepting chaos for what it is. You know what I mean? You really can't ignore darkness, and you really can't turn your nose up at it like you're better than chaos because it's a natural part of our universe, and we have to be grateful for it because chaos is the catalyst for all change. We accept it, and when it appears, as it always does, we use our alchemical powers to convert it into forces, to convert it into purified, good, wholesome energy that invigorates us and delivers us into the world of eternal vitality in hope and joy. All right, that's alchemy. All right, everybody, we're pretty much at the end of this picture here. I'm just doing some last minute touch ups. I realized I didn't really talk about the art a whole lot. I was just going on a stream of consciousness, but that's what it is. All right. So until next time, everybody, thank you for everything and for being here. And yeah, all right. Thank you. Until next time, peace out.